Welcome to Development Academy. Today we are going to talk about a path that will directly affect your development, give you status, and lead you to success. Buckle up and get ready for development. The veil of mystery. Behind your actions, the power of manipulation. Power and control are two fundamental elements that have been sought since the beginning of human history. Various strategies are used to get it. One of them is to keep people off balance and in the dark by never explaining the purpose behind your actions. This is one of the most effective tools of manipulation. How does it work? The basic idea behind this strategy is to create information asymmetry. When you don't explain what you are going to do and why, the other person struggles to understand what is what. This leads to feelings of confusion, uncertainty, and insecurity. These feelings make them vulnerable. If at any point in the deception we are practicing, if they have the slightest doubt about your intentions, you lose everything. Don't give them the chance to understand what you are up to. On the roads, make them lose the scent by dropping distractions. Show false sincerity, send ambiguous signs, misleading objects of desire, and put it in place. They won't know right from wrong, so they won't know your true purpose. They will not understand. The young man of 35 who became a deputy in the Prussian parliament in 1850, Otto von Bismarck, had reached a turning point in his career. The day of the many states into which Germany was divided at the time, including Prussia, united in war against Austria, the powerful southern neighbor that hoped to keep the Germans weak and quarrelsome, even threatening to intervene if they tried to unite. Prussia's Dauphin I Prince William was in favor of going to war. Parliament was therefore convened and prepared to support any mobilization. The only one opposed to war, preferring to appease powerful Austria King Frederick William the Sower and his ministers. Throughout his career, Bismarck was a stalwart of Prussia's power and strength, even an ardent supporter. The unification of Germany, the war against Austria, and the unification of a Germany that had been divided for so long. Of humiliating this country that held him in contempt. A former soldier, he saw war as a glorious business. After all, this was the man who years later said, "The great questions of the time will not be answered by speeches and resolutions, but by iron and blood." Bismarck, an ardent patriot and lover of military glory, was also, and at the height of the flames of war, it was a time when everyone in Parliament who would listen made a surprising speech. "I'm not going to be able to pity the statesmen who start a war for a reason that will remain. From war, then you will all look at these questions differently. Will you then have the courage to look at the peasant looking at the ashes of his farm, the crippled man, the father who has lost his children?" Bismarck not only did he talk about the madness of this war, but strangely he praised Austria and defended its actions. This speech defended everything was at odds with everything. The consequences were quickly seen. Bismarck was against the war. What could that mean? The other deputies were surprised, and a few of them changed the game. In the end, the king and his ministers won, and war was averted. After Bismarck's famous speech, the king made him minister, pleased that he represented peace. A few years later, he became prime minister. In this role, he eventually led the country and the peace-loving king into war against Austria, destroying the old empire and creating the powerful German state with Prussia at its head. Here is what we should learn from this story. During his speech in 1850, Bismarck made several calculations. First, he sensed that the Prussian army was not ready for war, not on the same level as the European armies. Austria could easily win the war, and this would be a disastrous outcome for the future. Second, if Bismarck supported the war and it was lost, his career would be in grave danger. The king and the conservative ministers wanted peace. Bismarck wanted power. The solution, by supporting a cause he hated, you can get people's attention by saying things they'd laugh at if they heard it from someone else, to divert it. The whole country had been deceived. The king had made him a minister because of his speech, and from that position he had easily climbed to the premiership, giving him the power to strengthen the Prussian army and achieve what he had wanted all along. humiliate Austria, and unifying Germany under Prussian leadership, Bismarck was certainly one of the most brilliant statesmen who ever lived, a master of strategy and deception. In this case, nobody understood what he was trying to do. If he had revealed his true intentions, he would know that it would be better to wait and fight later. He couldn't win the case because most Prussians wanted war at that time, and wrongly believed that his armies were superior to the Austrian army. He would not have succeeded if he had kowtowed to the king and asked for the premiership in exchange for his support for peace. The king distrusted his ambition and doubted his sincerity, but by not being sincere at all and sending misleading signals, he deceived everyone, concealed his true intentions, and got everything he wanted. He did. This is the power of hiding your intention. Remember, the best imposters use the power of disguise to hide they do their best. To hide their dishonesty in one area, they cultivate an air of honesty in another area. Honesty is just another weapon in their arsenal. It takes patience and humility to dull your bright colors. Don't feel sorry for wearing such an expressionless mask. It is often what attracts people to you and makes you look like a strong person. Is that you are unreadable?